selection, survival of the fittest. Natural selection can be seen in the story of the long-necked giraffe. The long neck is an adaptation that has helped the giraffe survive for millions of years. An adaptation is a trait or behavior helping an organism survive. Having a long neck helps giraffes to get food from high in the trees. Giraffes didn't always have long necks. Within a species, there's variations. Some giraffes have long necks, and some giraffes have short necks. Having a long neck is beneficial to the giraffe. The long neck helps the giraffe obtain food. If a giraffe had a short neck, it's going to have a difficult time getting the leaves that it needs to survive.
Charles Darwin was born in England on February 12, 1809. As a young boy, he wasn't the best student. He preferred bird watching and reading opposed to studying. Darwin grew up in a time where science and the views of the earth was changing greatly. The idea of evolution was being brought up. It made Darwin interested in science. In 1831, Darwin was invited on a 5-year journey around South America. Darwin was to collect animal and plant specimens. While sailing around South America, Darwin saw many plants, animals, and birds, including finches. As the ship reached the Galapagos Islands, Darwin made a discovery that would change the science world dramatically.
As Darwin traveled around the world, he noticed 3 distinct patterns in biological diversity in which his many observations might fit. He concluded that the pattern is species vary globally, locally, and over time. For globally, as Darwin went on more voyages and saw many more species, he recorded his observations. He observed and discovered that there are the same species living on different continents, spread far apart from each other. For example, rheas, emus, and ostriches. For locally, when Darwin went on land during his voyages and got up closer to the organisms, he noticed that different yet related animal species often occupied different habitats within a local area. For example, the Hood Island tortoise and the Isabella Island tortoise. This was due to the adaptation of organisms to their environment over time. For over time, on voyages, Darwin also collected fossils as well as living specimens. By studying the fossils, Darwin realized that some fossils of extinct animals were similar to living species. For example, the armadillo and the glyptodon. This is due to adaptation.
Natural selection and food supply played a large role in the large evolution of the bird's beaks. Over time, the bird's beaks were evolved to fit their type of diet. In this example, we show how some birds' beaks may be more helpful or worse for the different types of food. For the needle-nosed tweezers type of beak, we can see that it is easier to pick up small, delicate seeds. For the flat-nosed tweezers type of beak, we can see that it is able to pick up the bigger seeds with a little bit of difficulty, but overall successful. But with this type of beak, there was difficulty picking up small seeds. For the fingers, which represented a strong beak, it was able to pick up the large seeds with ease, with just a little trouble with the smaller seeds.
One may ask, how do we see natural selection at work? One prime example are the beaks of similar yet different species of finches and their beaks. The 2 tree finches include the Platyspia and the Certhidea. Platyspisa is a vegetarian finch that strips bark from woody plants with a beak designed to grip and hold tightly, like a pair of pliers. Certhidea is a finch that feeds on small, exposed insects that it picks off from plant surfaces. Its thin, straight, narrow beak works like a needle-nosed pliers and forceps to firmly grasp small objects at the tip. The ground finches include the Paranoloxias and the Geospiza. Paranoloxias is a finch that feeds on insects, fruit, and nectar. Its beak works like curved needle-nosed pliers that are good at probing and grasping at the tip. Geospiza is a finch that feeds on large, thick seeds with a beak that is thick, strong, and sharp. The beak works like a heavy-duty wire cutters to apply strong pressure and cutting force near its base.
As our world and its environments changed, the organisms also changed. Charles Darwin was the first to notice this change and came up with a theory that would help scientists for many years after, the theory of natural selection. Natural selection shaped the organisms inhabiting the earth, and it will continue for thousands of years.